All right. I'm going to from this point on, all right? Okay, so here's my new array list, correct? And my computer's acting funny. Can you guys hear me all right, or do I sound pixelated?
You're good.
Sound fine to me.
We hear you all right.
I didn't hear you.
Justin, you good, bub?
yours is a little pixelated there.
We can hear you.
This is like Optimus Prime or something.
It's probably because I'm doing this on my laptop.
Yeah, but you got it working, remember?
I got my desktop working. My laptop's still crap.
Okay. I don't know why this is, for some reason, this is all wigged out. Yes, I know I have an error.
British to me.
Do what?
Doesn't look too British to me.
See, it's not letting me click in and work. Watch. Okay, I'm shutting this one. You're going to like this one. Hang on. Close it. Cancel.
Did Mr. Hammond freeze for you guys also? Oh, he moved.
I'm not frozen. It's just not working, George. Let me shut this down again. There. Okay.
Mr. Hammond.
Good. Here's the example I did last night. No? Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through it, okay? Can you guys see this screen?
Yes.
Okay. Pretty much exactly what I did, except one show array, show the array, save it to a disk, and then load it from a disk. I mean, almost identical. If I go to the top, I just played around with two different tables. But what I did was I didn't use an array list. I just wrote them directly to a table, okay? You can do it with an array list to the list box, but when you bring it from the list box back out, it's got to go to a static array, not a dynamic one. We have to actually use an array, not an array list. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, that's why I was going to show you a little bit different. But anyway, I just called it table, right? And there are 5 names I put in there, correct? So when I click on button 2, all I'm doing, hold on. Right here is show the array, okay? So I just dim my integers, dim a temp, count how big that table is, right? Even though it's a regular table, I can count how long it is. And then I have to do j minus 2. The reasoning why, the array starts at 0, but it counts like the total length. So really it's 0 through 4. But when it hits an enter key, when I deal with files, I find out it counts that blank space below it. So that's why it's minus 2. It took me a bit to figure that one back out again. But I'm saving temp, and then I'm loading temp into a string field, right? So if I run this program, I'm going to have to come back up here and share it when it runs. Is that it? Can you see it?
Not yet.
I shared the wrong one, didn't I? I got too many things open. See, it's not showing it. Why is my screen paused? There. Got the right one?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You can see it now?
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. It went to the wrong spot. Okay, so like right here, so when I click show array, it populates those arrays in there, correct? So if I go back over here to the code, okay, and that's that part of the code right there, okay? All I'm doing is pulling it from the existing array that loaded on when I loaded the form and threw it to a list box. Now the next button was to write to a file, correct? You with me? Yes, no?
Yes.
Did I lose everybody? Okay, here's the
Yes.
that's going to be. I'm dimming text field as what's called an IO stream writer. Okay, in other words, it's just an object. And then the value I give it is the name of the file that I want to create. Now, here's a little info about this one. If that file already exists out there on drive C, and because of my security, I can't write directly to drive C, so I had to create a folder on it called data files. But anyway, if that file already exists, it will override it. So it's kind of neat to do it this way because it always keeps the most current one out there, and you don't have 500 copies of the same file. Okay. Then my next step is dim I and j as integer, count how big the table is, right? And then I throw it into a loop, but all I do is tell it to write line, and it writes one line at a time into that file. And then when I'm done going through the array, I just tell it to close. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to run this again and share that desktop back. Okay, so I showed the array, correct? Then I save to disk. It doesn't do anything that we see here, but if I come out here, I'm sharing a different screen now, okay? I want to share my file folder. Okay, so if I go out here on drive C and I go to that place called data files, guess what I have out there? That file that I just now created, correct? If I open that one up, let me share that one. I opened it in Notepad. Isn't that what I had in that array list? And see how that, yeah, we're good. Okay, so I'm closing that back and going back to, dang, where'd it go? Share that one. Okay, so are we good with that? All I really want you guys to be doing right now, if you think of our program, we already have an array list, correct? The only modification you're going to have to do to be able to save that array to disk right now is on load. You know, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the on load or anything right now. But, you know, we create an array list. We write to the array list. We show the array list. That's not a problem. But before you write, which is this one right here, on this line, you're going to have to come through here and you're going to have to dim. The first thing you would have to do is, if there was an array list, is come back and dim where I had that table, and let's say AL table. That might be the new one, right? And I don't know how big that one is yet. So I wouldn't do that line until you find out how big your array list is with the dot count. And then I would create right after that, I'd do something like this. I'd say dim the AI table, because now it's not a array list, it's a regular table, right? And tell it to make it the length of that variable, correct? And when you do that, just tell it to do it as a string, because that's your array. And then set up a for loop before you write it out, that it comes through here and does this for I equals 1 to j, correct? Yes. And then in there, all I would do is say AI table sub I is equal to what? AI or AL. It's not AI.
AL table.
AL
Yes.
table, and this one will be over here, AL sub I dot to string. And that line right there will load from the array list to the table. And then right here, you just say AL table, and that will save it out there. Okay. So what I want you to do is, once you get everything working on the program that we're working on right now, to where it updates back to the array list, updates back to that, then we're going to need to put a button on it that is write to file, you know, or save to disk or something like that, and then add that code in. Okay. What I will do is I will throw this code for this program out there, but this part right here I'm taking out because it's not going to work. So if I were you guys, I'd take a picture of it real quick.
I don't have my phone.
Okay, you guys got a copy of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to delete this out. I'll copy it and cut it out of there. All right. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post all of this on YouTube, and I'll upload the example. All right. Now, Wednesday, let's plan on having a class Wednesday also. I'll send you an invite. All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'm going to call her quits now, and then we'll meet again on Wednesday. All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey, Chip, I got one question.
Okay.
If you send it to that text thing on the outside for the form load, can't you just edit it from there and then save that text and put it back in the code?
Do what now?
Like with your table that you have saved off of onto your disk, can't you edit it on the disk and save it or resave it to the thing?
Yeah, you mean once we save it out to disk, can you edit changes on the disk, and then when you load it back in?
Yeah,
You're saying edit it through the text file?
yeah.
You can, yeah, but I don't want that to happen. I want all the edit and everything to take place inside the program. I'm just using the disk for storage once, because what's going to happen is once this program shuts down, we lose all of our data, right? That's in the array.
Yeah.
I want it so when we load the program back up later on, we're going to pull that from file and reload the array list, and we're up and running again. And then if we make any changes to the array list before we leave, we're going to write them back to the disk. That's just our backup while the program's running. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand you can edit that, but you get some, and you know that, and I know that being programmers, but the people that are going to be running the programs, they're going to have no idea where that data is or how to modify it. Right?
True.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you guys on Wednesday, okay?
See you.
Yeah, see you Wednesday.
Bye.
See you
upload 'em.
Wednesday.
See you. Bye.